Welcome back everyone to video 2 of me trying to turn my 4-cylinder little passenger car into a tow vehicle. Alright, our last video we did something simple. We put a receiver hitch on the 2011 Fusion. Now we need to have a way to hook up trailer lights to it. We're going to install this quick and easy Curt trailer wiring harness, part number 56048. Real simple, vehicle specific, no splicing required. Let's check it out. So here's a quick look of what all comes in the kit. As you see here, you have the wiring harness that actually is going to go to the trailer. Not sure which side is which right now because I haven't read the instructions, but one side goes to one tail light, one side goes to the other tail light. This looks like it's going to be a ground wire, go to the frame somewhere. Here's our power wire. That's going to go all the way up to the battery. That supplies the power that the trailer lights need, so you don't overload the power or the wiring with your car tail lights. Here's the wire that's going to go all the way from our power wire, which is this distribution box, whatever they want to call it. Long wire goes all the way to the battery. Before you get to the battery, a nice fuse. Zip tie everything up. This terminal here is going to go onto the battery itself. The butt connectors, another butt connector. They even have black silicone in there to seal everything up tight. Looks like we've got everything we're going to need. And instructions, color instructions with pictures. Who does that? Who supplies all of this? Well, Curt does. Front and back should be pretty easy. The most difficult part obviously is going to be running the wire all the way from the back of the car to the front of the car to hook up the battery for the power source, but I still don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Take out all the carpet, remove this plastic piece, then we're going to take the carpet, kind of the felt carpet goes along the side here to expose the back side of the driver's side taillight. Then we'll go to the passenger side, pulls all this felt back to expose the back side or the front side, whatever you want to call it, of the passenger side taillight so we can get to the wires. Alright, so what I've done here is I've cleared away this paint so that when we put this ground on, wherever it went, there it is, going to be metal on metal. If you ever see somebody pulling a trailer and the trailer lights are flickering, that's the trailer bouncing around, stuff like that, more than likely it's from bad ground. So you can't get a good ground through paint. It may ground if you just put a screw through there. I don't know, but it's better to have cleared away area like that with paint. See if we have enough. It looks like we do. Also picked a spot that isn't the exterior part of the sheet metal, so we don't have a screw sticking out. That's kind of embarrassing. Something that you find later on. Whoa, you got a screw sticking out of your fender. Ah, that's one of those Stanley Way mods. Anyway, put it here where the factory wire harness is. Also, it's going to be protected because when we put our plastic piece back on, you won't see it. After our ground wire install, the instructions tell us to find a nice flat spot to mount our power box. And I should have done that before I put the ground wire on, but I got lucky. Be a nice spot right here. It comes with double-sided tape. Be able to stick it there in place, be under the carpet, out of the way. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this part's not gonna be fun. We gotta take power wire from that box, find a route behind the felt and in between the felt and the fender, route it somehow all the way up here, going up into the car. My plan then is take this trim out, run it right by the door, by the back door, and then the front door. And I looked on the firewall, and this thing is sealed up really well. It's definitely not like a truck. So instead of dealing with all that, trying to get through the firewall, I decided I'm going to try to sneak the wire in through a little hole right behind here and kind of go back that way, come out of the fender well up to the battery. If it doesn't work, we'll just try something else. Okay, so my wonderful plan of coming up through here, going through this little hole into the fender, it didn't work. Wire actually got caught in there. It took me a while to get it back out. I should have known. So what I'm gonna do is do it right. I should have done the first time. You look all the way under here. Some of the factory wiring goes through the firewall. I'm just going to tuck this wire beside the factory wiring. I have to stand on my head to do it. Not going to be able to video. It's the right way anyway. So that's how we're going to do it. Just don't get lazy on this part. Very important that your wires go in correctly and safely. On another note, as I was trying to find a place for the wires to come through, I took the splash guard out. In between the splash guard and the fender was a big mess of wet leaves and dirt. What's that going to cause? It's going to cause rust right there in the bottom of the fender. So I cleaned that out while I was in there. So one day, with me driving these cheap cars, I'm going to buy a Tesla. I don't care what anybody says. I want to go electric, charge it off solar panels. That'd be really cool. But don't tell me and complain to me about some of the things that Tesla does when they've only been building cars for, what, 17 years? When here is a car company that's been building cars over 100 years and they're still doing dumb junk like this? Okay, so anyway, Cybertruck in my future. How is a Cybertruck in my future? Well, because I'm going to drive cheap cars like this. I'm not going to pay the high gas prices of a big old honking truck. I'm going to drive old cheap 4-cylinder like this. Put old cheap hitch on it. Buy old cheap trailer. And that's how I'm going to get around. Go to Home Depot, pay in cash for stuff I want to do to the truck, to the house, like the movie theater, stuff like that. Anyway, I started preaching. Shouldn't have. But anyway, I'm just delaying because I'm covered in sweat. Getting hot. Hopefully I'll be able to find this wire through the firewall. I mean, all I gotta do is go to this battery right there. That's simple. Might just drill a hole in the windshield and be done with it. Alright, so went through the firewall, found the factory wiring harness to come through the plug. That way everything can be sealed up again, nice and safe. Took me forever to try to find a spot or find out where that actual hole through the firewall is coming through. As you saw earlier, I took the battery out. There's where the battery was. So I was looking all behind there. Move up here. Saw where it was real high on the interior of the car, under the dash. So I took apart the area where the windshield wiper motor is at, and that's where the wire came out. So the wires I was looking at are the windshield wiper motor wires. So what we're going to do, we're going to come on through, I'm going to skirt over top of those windshield wiper motor wires and zip tie them in place so they don't get caught up in any of the motor mechanisms. Battery's back in, terminal's connected, negative terminal is connected. This fuse is for the trailer lights, all included in the kit. All the wires are bundled back up. As you can see, it runs from where the windshield wiper motor is at. I just drilled a little hole through that. I already checked the hood to make sure it doesn't hit that, and it does not. The hood clears, plenty of clearance. I didn't like fishing it underneath here because it didn't lay down very good, so that'll be fine. There's enough slack that if the wiper motor ever does go out, that I'll be able to move all that stuff out of the way. Through the firewall, back down under the molding by the front seat. There's the molding and seat belt to the back seat, comes back through here. Comes all the way back under the felt of the trunk, and there's our power source right there. And as you saw, we hooked up the driver's side, passenger side brake lights, and when you want to use the trailer, you just pull this out, and as you can see, you have plenty of length to hook to the trailer. It even has, the kit comes with the dust cover that I'm going to put on now. When you're not using the trailer, you could wind this up, tuck it up underneath the felt, keep it out of the way, out of the weather. Alright, so now for safety's sake, we're going to check, make sure the lights all work, brake lights, blinker, reverse lights, and car's running. I'm excited to get in it because the AC is blowing cold. We fixed it a few weeks ago. So far it's been running great. All right, let's check out the lights. Everything seems to be running great. I was a little more involved than installing the receiver hitch, but all in all, still not too bad. The worst thing is the heat. It is getting so hot out here, and that gets frustrating. But the good thing about it is, if you try to do this job, it gets too hot, you get frustrated. It's not something that requires to be finished for your car to run and drive. So just tuck the wires in away somewhere. Don't hook them up to the battery yet. Tuck them away and come back another time. Now, I look like a caveman right now, according to my wife, after the installation video for the movie theater. She didn't even know it was me. When she saw that video, she was wondering who was that on the thumbnail for that video. I said, it's me. She said it looks like a caveman. So, to save you from the current caveman looking self that I am, I figured I would just finish the video by looking at the trunk of the car, and I'll stay behind the viewfinder. So, thank you for all your support. Thank you for your likes and subscriptions, and we will see you later.